So we've come to Anglesey in North Wales today to have a look at your system and I suppose to hear a bit about your story and the way you operate here. I think you have an interesting story for people in that the farm you're on you don't own, but you have a share in the profits, and you own cows as well. I believe it's a farm that's owned by the Rogers family. So if you wouldn't mind, you might just give a background to yourself and maybe how the system works here.
Basically, just a brief background on myself. I'm my father he was milking, my grandfather was milking. Home wasn't big enough for either my brother or myself. And then when leaving college in 2006, I came and worked for Richard and his mother and father. They were running probably at most about 800 head of sheep and 400 head of beef cattle. So basically, I've been here since 2006. Back in 2014, Richard changed over a farm he bought back in 2009 into basically a spring calving dairy herd for calving down February 2015 at Trevan next door. This is actually the second farm he converted back in 2018, and by now he's converted the third farm as well. Ken then went back in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the moment 3 similar systems, all spring calving, February till mid-April, focusing, purely on grass silage, a bit of maize, a whole crop. Trying to probably push production, litres and solids, but keeping relatively low cost system as well. Bodrida here is a 60 hectare platform. I'm just running 250 crossbred cows.
Okay. So you run the farm, you're on a salary, but
Yeah.
I suppose what's different here is that you also own a percentage of the cows. And I suppose it's a win-win situation here that maybe is not that common across farms in Ireland and the UK. You might explain a bit better what actually is the reality of this, say, year to year.
Basically, I'm here as a share milker. Basically, it's quite a simple system. Richard, his mother and father, owns all the infrastructure. I own half the cows and Richard owns half the cows. It's the same on all 3 units. Basically, there's a share milker on each. Each of them as well own a percentage of the cows. They're all different businesses set up on their own limited companies. Basically everything all year goes into one pot. All the bills gets paid. Everything that's left end of the year get divided, half of the infrastructure back to Richard and his mum and dad, and basically the other half is split proportional to the cow percentage of the cows you own in the business.
And so before that, there is a cost coming out for the rent of the asset.
Yeah,
or the land
basically every May we Richard pulls basically a rent out for the farm, and the dairy business basically keeps the single farm payment as well. That happens in May. Very simple, really. We don't run any of the machinery ourselves. I've only got the skid steer and the bike here on farm. I only have one full time with me, so probably we haven't got the time either to be running around on tractors, doing and it's just more cost, and so basically Richard does all of that for us. All the contracting does Richard does all the contracting, all the heifer hearing, and supplies all the forage into the 3 farms. And the forage is paid for basically when the bales arrive in the yard. All the heifers are paid for per day, per head. And basically they go to Richard about 4 months of age until a month before calving down.
Right.
So the assets of the dairy business is just the cows?
Just the cows, the skid steer,
and the bike.
The bike.
And
Yeah.
being you've only had to put money into 50% of the cows, that's enabled you to enter at a much higher level than what you probably would have entered on your own.
Yeah, definitely.
So in a dry period like we are at the moment, say there's extra feed needs to go in.
Yeah.
It's just not affecting. It's I suppose both sides are paying for that as such, or
basically the dairy business as such is buying that extra feed off Richard and his mum and dad basically. So yeah, we'd be lucky. We've got a pit of maize left after last year. We've baled our first cut, so we're just nibbling into them.
yeah.
So it's quite it's nice and simple once.
Once you
Head
get your head
around
around
this.
it,
Yeah. Getting a head around it is a bit.
And where would you see yourself in 10 years' time?
At the moment, I'm quite happy as I am at the moment. I haven't got big future plans as of now, but probably I'm building up, owning half the cows, and by now, probably I'm building up, money one day that I can go and spend on a rented farm somewhere that I've been lucky enough to have, or buy a little block of land, or just working my way up the ladder really. Yeah.
And would you encourage this way into the business to other new entrants?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be where I am today, without Richard and his mum and dad. And fair play to them. Back in 2015, when I got the opportunity of being a share milker and owning some of the cows, I've worked myself up to owning more cows now and generating more.
And I assume the benefit for landowners like Richard and his family is that they have continuity and they have buy-in from someone like yourself. They're not at risk of someone leaving.
It definitely gives probably Richard a bit of peace of mind that there's one on each farm that's going to be there. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, but he's got somebody on each farm that's going to proportion the cows that is quite committed to the farm and will keep the farm running at the best that they could, because it's going to be in their own interest as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So I take it like you. How many members of staff have you got on?
Just myself and one other full time.
And that's staffing. So all the staffing's your responsibility. Richard doesn't have any of that.
Fair play. Richard is quite hands on as well. He's everything gets talked about and discussed about. Yeah. Anything that happens, anything with staff, and nothing happens without both of us knowing about it really.
Right. And do all 3 of the units work together on certain things like worming or TB testing?
Yeah, definitely. Like the heifer rearing, kind of that side of stuff, and we're quite flexible with the contracting and stuff as well. We will go on tractors and we will, it's a separate. Each one is a separate business, but we will come together and help each other out if needs to be as well.
Yeah.
So in all, there's 2 on each farm. So there's 6 on the dairy farms, and Richard has himself 3 sons, 1 full time and a part time.
I guess that also gives you peace of mind. If you went away on holiday, you know that somebody else from one of the other units can look in.
Yeah, that's very nice about it really, when somebody's gone off and had a break. you know, there's somebody just looking over and just down the road if there's something wrong. And,
Yeah.
you know, the farm is set up that one can cope easily, you know, milking day to day quite easily on his or her own. Yeah. It's always quite nice if there's something going on, and these things do go wrong. That somebody's not very far away, you know.
Yeah.
Not very far away.
So you're feeding out, say, silage today now, and there's a tractor and diet feeder up there.
Starting today.
Yeah. So how again, it's a small detail, but how is that paid for? Is there a charge for using the tractor if it's kind of a central tractor as such?
No, everything is charged.
Yeah.
As I was saying, the business only owns the skid steer and the bike. Anything coming through the gates as tractor-wise, trailers, sterners, anything like that, it's all billed. If we ourselves go on the tractors, Richard just bills
For the tractor
for the
time,
tractor and diesel, basically.
not the person driving it.
Not the person driving it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he comes or Ian that works for Richard comes, it's a tractor, diesel and time, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
everything gets billed.
So input costs, say feed, fertiliser, etc. I guess fertiliser is paid for by Richard into the forage business, but
Into the forage, yeah.
feed and the milk contract, is that as one business or is it three different? Do you have three different accounts for?
4 different accounts, basically.
Right.
Every dairy unit is their own account, their own business, and then Richard is a business separate again.
Yeah.
So that there's 4 businesses running here, basically.
But I guess you can use a bit of buying power combining.
Oh yeah,
the farms
definitely,
together.
definitely. Just with the numbers,
Yeah.
we're running just over 900 cows. Probably does give a bit of scope to negotiate.
It's the same supplier to every farm.
Yeah.
And is the milk contract, is that?
That's separate, actually.
That's separate.
That's separate. Bodreader here and Candanwen is with Utility Dairies, and Trevan, the first one, we converted back in 2015, is with South Carnarvon Creameries. Quite happy with both, really. There's a lot of seasonality on the South Carnarvon contract compared to Utility. Utility is just a base all the way through, basically, but they do tend out to be quite similar to each other by the end of the year.
Right.
Yeah, it's just different.
Yeah.
Gethin, can I ask the area here geographically, you know, historically, was it a beef and sheep area, or was there a mix of cows, or what's it like today?
Probably was quite a good mix. We're in a if the weather's with us, we're in a good cash going, you know, part of the country. We're in a lot of beef and sheep, a lot of dairy. I'd say in the last 8, 9, 10 years, the dairy in Anglesey has expanded a lot. Basically, quite a lot of large herds gone about on this system. You know, low cost spring calving. Quite a lot of people gone out as well. You know, the smaller herds all year round. Yes, just changing a bit.
I'd say, why are people maybe considering leaving the beef and sheep sector and getting into dairying? What's
probably for us here, it's definitely the constant cash flow coming in, isn't it? It's cash flow coming in. Probably, I think if you do a good job in beef and sheep or in dairy, you'll make decent money out of it. But I think for us here, it's just it's a cash flow. It's bringing scope to bring young people in. You know, like myself.
When you made the conversion, was you gone for the spring calving system? Was any other systems looked at, or what was the reason you opted for spring calving?
Not really. It was going to be a spring calving. We were doing quite a bit probably with Here's Williams over in the Llŷn Peninsula. He's been spring calving for years and years. I'm not sure since when. And we were doing quite a lot with him. We were actually rotational grazing quite a lot of crossbred male calves for Rhys and Dower and Finch prior to going milking back probably in 2012, 2013, 2014. And then, probably we did a lot with Rhys, and it went from there really. It just in 2014 we converted to Ivan.
Yeah.
And then the system worked. Yeah, then
just duplicated it all.
again and again. And again. I think we've reached, probably here we've reached quite the capacity at the moment. Just with land really for the forage and for the young stock and everything is quite, three units quite enough, you know.
Yeah, and you found that being the sweet spot really. 2-man unit.
2-man unit.
250, 300 cows.
Definitely.
Yeah.
250. We're running just short 350 in 3-van. Still a 2-man. Anything over 350, I think you're pushing it. You're pushing. Basically, milkings gets over 2.5 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
And I think 2.5 hours is where you want to be the most in the parlour, really.
Yeah.
So anything after 350 hours, I think you're pushing on 3 labour units, or going over that 2 labour units to 3 labour units. Yeah, I think it just works. At 250, 300 cow is just a...
And being on the spring calving system, you've still got good work-life balance?
February, March, April is going to be quite tough months, you know, not much time off due to calving and stuff, but I always think February, March, April, May, AI, up to beginning of June, mid-June, and then the pressure's off. It's quite, you know, after mid-June, it's quite a nice system. And basically one of us comes in and milk in the morning, the other one just comes in at 8 as a, you know, regular job basically, isn't it? Just 8 till 5. One starts at 6 and one starts at 8.
Right, and that alternates, does it? Or...
basically every day.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So every week you get 2 or 3 early mornings.
Yeah.
And every other weekend as well.
Right.
Yeah. So we here at the moment operate 11-3. So it's 11 day on, milking every other, and 3 days off. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And during calving we try and get 1 day a week off.
Yeah.
Just to have a break. And
you dry everything off December, January?
Mid-December.
Yeah.
Drying off day last year, 15th December. And then they'll be dry until first week of Feb.
And that gives you time to recoup and do...
Yeah. It's funny, like, because you're on a week before Christmas, that week is gone dosing and just, you know, bits and bobs. Then it's Christmas, New Year. You're in 5th of January without, realising. Yeah. And then you've got a nice 3-4 weeks then just to get everything ready, wash everything down, ready for calving again. Yeah. Recharge the batteries.
That's it.
Recharge the batteries.
So Gethin, maybe in summary, the structure you have here for anyone who's trying to get involved in dairy farming as a young person who don't have assets or to back in it from home, or maybe equally a landowner who has an asset, maybe wants to consider options. It's something that you recommend to both sides?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely changed me and helped me on my way, you know, getting a share of the cows.
And for the landowner, I suppose, to get an asset that probably appreciates in value as well, and better cash flow from it.
Yeah.